Goodbye, Your Majesty. We are ready for them, Your Majesty. The work you did at Helgen has paid off. Yes, Your Majesty. The Divine Crusader and Mr. Smith have given me the locations of all Eldmeri forces within the Empire. The Legion is making sure no supplies or messages get through to them, so they are effectively being starved out. It reminds me of the Akaviri at Pale Pass, Your Majesty. Our forces are moving into position to assault the Eldmeri forces should they attempt to move or attack. The 33rd have ordered the borders closest to the enemy be defended, but most of the enemy forces are inside the Empire already. From what I could tell, they were nearly ready to start the next war, but thanks to your efforts at Helgen, we have the element of surprise. With their forces divided, still awaiting supplies before they can start the next war, and out of touch with each other, I would say, yes, Emperor. It will be slaughter. Our early advantage will weaken the Eldmeri Dominion considerably, but they will recover. We have to defeat the bulk of forces already here before we can even consider an invasion of the Eldmeri Dominion. But the Eldmeri Dominion can build a new army in its own territory whilst we do that. I believe we will suffer few losses. Our advantage is too great. Also, the troops will gain valuable experience during the campaign. By the time we turn our attention to the Eldmeri Dominion, we will have a veteran army to take on their raw recruits. Yes, Your Majesty. Goodbye, Your Majesty.
Force
Emperor.
The Eldmeri Dominion wishes to pay its respects to you, Your Majesty.
Always a pleasure, Your Majesty. How may I be of assistance? A mistake, Your Majesty. I will see to it that those responsible are punished. The treaty, Your Majesty. You cannot jest. No, Your Majesty, but we... The treaty clearly states... What? The Empire has to stand by its treaties. So it is true. You are Dragonborn. A Dragon Emperor. I must update our records. Talos was a man, and he's dead. What message do you have for us, Emperor? You cannot do that. We have a treaty, it says. Then war it is. You are a student of history. Good. Your part in it will be short. We will see to it. Goodbye, Emperor. You will regret this, Emperor.
Greetings, Emperor. Already done, Your Majesty. General Lightheart saw to it. He has even placed forces inside elsewhere to harass the enemy when the time comes. Once we start shelling their towns with the heads of the Justicar, they will know we mean business, Emperor. The news of such an act will spread like wildfire around the Somerset Isles. The Falmor may even spread the news themselves. It would also be a good way to tell those opposed to the Falmor that they have allies in the Empire. This may open a few doors for me, Emperor. I will see to it. Will you be joining them, Emperor? Good. That will be a major boost to the morale of the troops, Your Majesty. Yes, Your Majesty. The days of the Dragon Emperors have truly returned.
It is good to see you again, Your Majesty. I will dismiss the court, Your Majesty. It is good to see you
again. How can I be of service, Emperor?
It's good to see you, Emperor. Emperor, my men have reported a sudden arrival in Skyrim of refugees from Cyrodiil. I have no idea, Emperor, but something big is happening in Cyrodiil, and the official channels seem to be blocked. I have the locations of 3 refugees that have recently arrived from Cyrodiil. I strongly recommend you talk to them personally. Yes, Your Majesty, but you have to start showing your face, showing you are in charge. So it is best you be seen to handle these things. One refugee is in Ivanstead, one in Falkreath, and one in Riften. Here, I have written down the details of all their locations for you. Farewell, Emperor.
May I be of assistance, Your Majesty?
No, Your Majesty. They did not need to. They were already here. People were speaking of hidden camps all over Cyrodiil. Oh, they were on us before anybody could sound the alarm. I do not know, Emperor. The guards were the only defence we had, and they did not last long against the professional soldiers.
I come from Bruma, Your Majesty. It is under siege by the Aldemiri Dominion.
I think I saw it again.
They had an army hidden in the hills. At the outbreak of the war, they marched to the nearest city and besieged it.
I'm sorry.
The Legion are nowhere to be seen. Nobody knows what's happening with them.
See that you don't. I promise to keep you safe.
Send someone over.
Emperor, I'm so happy. 'Twas terrible, Emperor. They came from us in the middle of the night, drove us from our homes. The Thalmor's Justicar. They claim my entire village in the name of some Aldemiri Dominion.
At some point we should hire.
Where is the Legion? Emperor, why have they allowed this?
I wish I could afford to pay.
Thank you, Emperor. I'm just one of the first of many to arrive in Skyrim seeking safety. There are hundreds, if not thousands more, just like me coming here too.
Your Majesty.
It's good. I too received a report whilst you were away, but nothing through official channels. This comes from the Knights of the Nine, hidden in Cyrodiil. Some of the surviving Elder Council that were jailed for treason were freed by the Thalmor at the outbreak of the war. They ordered the Legion in Cyrodiil to stand down. Some legions refused, and are still guarding the borders as ordered. The ones that agreed to stand down are now prisoners of the Aldemiri Dominion, Your Majesty. No, Your Majesty, the borders are not under attack. Our legions are guarding the wrong places. Cyrodiil is defenseless, and our legions surrounded. The Aldemiri Dominion attacked us from inside Cyrodiil. They have already taken control of the Imperial City. I have reports that the rest of Cyrodiil will fall soon. Your Majesty, the Empire is lost. Skyrim is all that remains, and it will be the Aldemiri Dominion's next target. Farewell, Emperor.
It is good to see you again, Your Majesty. Goodbye.
Hail the Emperor!
You were looking well
Hail
today,
the Emperor!
You
Need
were-
something?
May I be of
Greetings,
assistance,
Emperor.
Your Majesty?
Your Majesty.
Hail the Emperor!
Yes, Your Majesty. I just got word that Bruma is holding out against the Aldemir Dominion, but needs supplies. Unfortunately, the Aldemir Dominion have sent men to blockade all roads in or out of Cyrodiil. They are trapped inside Cyrodiil now the roads are closed, but the news gets worse. Whilst some of our legions are surrounded and entrenched in Cyrodiil, others have dispersed and are making their way here on foot. Word is, they are hoping to evade the Aldemir Dominion forces and rally at Solitude by sneaking across Cyrodiil at night individually. But with the blockade in place, they will be captured or killed at the border. The way things stand right now, any large force crossing Cyrodiil would be surrounded and destroyed before it got too far. Their only hope is to split up and rally here. Yes, that would work. With the Bruma road secured, we could keep Bruma supplied from Skyrim and maintain a foothold in Cyrodiil. Bruma would have to undergo months of siege, but we could send men and supplies through the mountains to aid her. It would also give us a safe road to Solitude for our troops and any refugees that make it past the Aldemir Dominion forces. Very well, Your Majesty, but you still need to prove to the people you are a worthy Emperor, so I suggest you take charge of the attack. The Dragon Guards stand ready to help you, and I suggest you use them for this attack. But remember, it will take a while to find replacements if they die, so try and keep them alive. We may need them in the future. Good luck breaking through the blockade, Emperor.
May I be of assistance, Your Majesty?
The Thieves' Guild likes it.
You were looking well today, Emperor.
Excellent news, Your Majesty. I have good news too. Word of Bruma's stand against the Aldemir Dominion has spread. Civilians are going there to volunteer to fight the Dominion. The Divine Crusaders already sent men to Cyrodiil to try and reach the entrenched legions. Their orders are to rally at Bruma if possible. Exactly so, Your Majesty. Divide and conquer was their plan, and it worked. But with most of the Legion divided but otherwise intact, we can rally our full strength at Bruma and push them out of Cyrodiil. The problem with the Dominion strategy is it leaves their own forces scattered across Cyrodiil. Yes, Your Majesty, but it will not be a quick victory. This is going to take a long time. If we can hold Skyrim, we can win this war. Greetings, Emperor.
May I be of assistance, Your
Hail the Emperor!
It is good to see you again, Your Majesty. Goodbye, Majesty.
Hail the Emperor!
It's good to see you, Emperor. As am I. We have uncovered one of the Aldemir Dominion's hidden bases in a Dwemer ruin called Mizark. We know the Thalmor are rather brutal, even to their own people, and we know their army is conscripted, so morale is low amongst the recruits. I believe if we kill off the command staff at this hidden base, we can demoralize troops they control. Without leadership, the remaining Aldemir Dominion troops at the base should slowly disperse and return to Somerset Isles. The Thalmor are relying on us doing exactly that, diverting troops from the front line to take care of these hidden forces. But a single unit or an expert in stealthy combat could do the job without the help of the Legion. This will allow us to deploy the rest of the Legion to our front lines and take the fight to the Aldemir Dominion. A typical Aldemir command structure for these bases is one commander, one archmage, and one officer. Once you reach Mizark, you will have to search for them. I can show you the way to Mizark, but I have no idea where they are inside the ruin. Good luck, Emperor.
College mages having a place like...
It's good to see you, Emperor. Good news, Your Majesty. I also have good news. The Cyrodiil legions are retreating to Bruma, linked up just north of the Imperial City, and have attacked the besieging Aldemir army at Bruma. The siege is over, Your Majesty. The Aldemir Dominion troops surrounding Bruma are in full retreat. It appears information about the poor state of the Cyrodiil Legion was planted by the Cyrodiil Legion officers themselves. And the Aldemary Dominion believed every word of it, totally underestimating the Cyrodiil Legion's strength, numbers, and morale. Indeed, Your Majesty. The siege at Bruma ended far sooner than expected, but the battle for Skyrim has only just begun. Yes, I just received a report from one of my knights that the Aldemary army has taken up residence in Pazulta, led by a commander, archmage, and an officer. So those are your targets, same as before. Yes, General Lightheart has started her march on the Imperial City. I believe you met her, didn't you, Your Majesty? She is taking 6 legions to surround the Imperial City. The plan is to wipe out all the Aldemary Dominion troops inside the city. We will not be taking any prisoners, nor will we be letting any escape. We are learning from the Aldemary Dominion mistakes. Dead men cannot rally and return to fight another day. Plus, we happen to know the Imperial City is home to the largest Aldemary Dominion force in Cyrodiil. By forcing our entire might on the Imperial City, we can defeat them. Then, we will outnumber the Aldemary Dominion in Cyrodiil. Anyway, I should not keep you from your task, Your Majesty. Hopefully, I will know more when you return.
What? Nakast! It's nothing! Over here!
It's good to see you, Emperor. Your actions are weakening the Aldemary Dominion's grip on Skyrim and allowing us to send more men south to Cyrodiil. Yes, Your Majesty. The Aldemary Dominion sallied out to engage General Lightheart's forces at Fort Nickel. General Lightheart faced them down with 5 of her 6 legions. The last legion was sent across Lake Rumar, north of the Imperial City. They sneaked into the city via the sewers, liberating the Imperial City before the Battle of Fort Nickel even begun. The Aldemary Dominion forces did not know anything was wrong until the city gate slammed shut behind them. General Lightheart's attack pushed them back into Lake Rumar. Those who did not die by the sword drowned. General Lightheart's casualties were light, and very little damage was done to the Imperial City, since it was mostly empty of enemy forces. The Aldemary Dominion forces occupying the Imperial City was destroyed to the last man. General Lightheart achieved a major victory against the Dominion, Your Majesty. The Imperial Navy engaged the Aldemary Navy in Topol Bay. The Elves are highly skilled sailors. We took heavy casualties. I do not believe our navy can beat them in a fair fight. After all, they are an island, and sailing is a vital skill to them, but not to us. Fortunately, fog ended the battle before we lost the entire fleet. Some reported fine weather beforehand, so the fog is a bit of a mystery. Spellcraft would explain it. The Admiral has ordered the Navy to stay closer to land. He hopes the land-based fortifications will add to his own firepower and tilt the balance in his favor next time he engages the Dominion's navy.
How can I be of service,
Greetings,
Emperor?
Your Majesty. As you know, the Penitus Oculatus served the Emperor directly. Since you became Emperor, we have served you. With the Legion in the capable hands of your generals, Your Majesty, it is time you put your agents to work. I have summoned your head agents back to Skyrim, so you may issue them new orders, Your Majesty. They will address you as Agent 0. You should address them as Agent 1, Agent 2 and Agent 3. Agent 1 is in the Candlehearth at Windhelm. Agent 2 is in the Warrens at Markarth. And Agent 3 is in the Four Shields Tavern at Dragonbridge. Simply listen to their reports and give them new orders, Your Majesty. These are your agents. They answer directly to you. I'll be here if you need me, Emperor.
Hail the Dragonborn. Hail the Dragon Emperor.
Traveling around Hammerfell, trying to get support for the war against the Old Merry Dominion, Agent Zero. I believe so, Agent Zero. Hammerfell leaders have indicated that once Coral has been retaken by the Empire, and their southern flank protected, then they will send what forces they can spare to aid us. This makes Coral a key strategic asset for us.
Forces in Valenwood and located the camp where Legion prisoners are being held. Do you wish me to attempt a rescue, Agent Zero? Very well, Agent Zero. I'll report to General Lightheart and plan an assault on the prisoner of war camp.
Greeting, Agent Zero. I have been working undercover in the Imperial City during the occupation, and have traced the Elder Councillors that are turned traitor. My current orders are to observe their movements and report back. Do you wish to change my orders? Understood, Agent Zero. I will continue to monitor their activities.